Yamunatiravanachare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Gopi Janavalabha Giribaradare Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatiravanachare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Giribaradare Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatiravanachare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Giribaradare Gopi Janavalabha Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Ranjana Yamunatiravanachare Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nanda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Shiva Jagaranga Dharnita Ki Jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey, Hare Krishna, oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from a Transcendental Diary by Harisori Prabhu, chapter entitled Chandigarh. Prabhupada approved the inclusion of his Bengali book in the list of books and gave the spelling. Gitar Gan, in brackets Bengali, may be added, quote, Gitar Gan may be added in the front piece as you have suggested, spelling as above with Bengali in brackets, unquote. As for the manuscripts on the life of Lord Chaitanya, he said that there was no need to print it, since the material was already included in other books, and he improved the reprinting of the Adi Lila in 4 volumes. As far as his current work goes, he still has not made up his mind. Quote, let me finish 9th canto, then I shall decide. Most probably I shall start 11th canto, but as yet I have not decided. Unquote. One of the older devotees, Sachimata Dasi, wrote from Germany, where she has recently settled. She expressed her happiness in having obtained, without any of her own endeavor, deities of Sri Sri Gaurnitai. She felt that the unusual circumstances by which she got them was quite mystical, and asked Prabhupada's permission to worship them in her home. She also requested guidance on whether she should come to India to serve. Srila Prabhupada wrote back encouraging her to start the worship of their lordships, although he did not encourage her to think of their appearance as anything other than the natural result of her performance of bhakti yoga. Quote, there is nothing mystical about getting Gauranitai deities for worshipping. The Lord is all-powerful and omnipresent. He knows the heart of the devotee and reciprocates with the devotee accordingly. So now the Lord has come to your home and agreed to be worshipped by you. Therefore everything should be clean and neat. Nice prasadam should be offered regularly and distributed to guests. Kirtan may be performed morning and evening, and some discussion from Bhagavad Gita as it is or other books from our publications. Unquote. He suggested that she remain in Germany and preach to her own circle of friends. He felt that since she was older, she might find India too difficult, and so she should simply take whatever opportunity was available for service. Quote, chant Hare Krishna and help spread this movement in the best way open to you. Unquote. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It's very interesting how Srila Prabhupada said that the appearance of the Gauranitai deities is not mystical, but it is a natural result of her performance of bhakti yoga. And the reason why it's not mystical is because Srila Prabhupada said that the Lord knows the heart of the devotee and reciprocates. This was a very natural thing for Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Shri Shri Vijay Gauradesh ki jai. Hare Krishna. And for us it seems mystical, but for Srila Prabhupada it was very natural that the Lord knows the heart of the devotee and He reciprocates. You know, it's a very personal thing, this bhakti yoga process. Srila Prabhupada said, my Guru Maharaj said, Giriraj Maharaj said, that Prabhupada said that the Krishna consciousness is love. It's just simply love masquerading as a philosophy. And recently I heard Mahatma Prabhu say that Sachinandan Maharaj said that the chanting of Hare Krishna is a relationship. It's not a process. It's a relationship. So along the same lines. And Srila Prabhupada is saying here that as a natural result of Bhakti Yoga, the Lord reciprocates with the heart of the devotee. So it's all about a relationship. And it seems mystical to us, but actually it's just natural. Because it's a personal relationship, that's what we're doing in Bhakti Yoga. We're developing our relationship with Krishna. And Mahatma Prabhu was explaining how when we chant Hare Krishna, we become impersonalists. We are personalists, and we accept the philosophy of personalism, but as soon as we start chanting japa, we become impersonalists because we start thinking about everything under the sun except our chanting. So we're in the presence of Krishna, and theoretically we understand, but as soon as we start chanting, we become impersonal. So it's something we can work on. He was saying that just be present with Krishna because He's there with you when you're chanting. And another thing that I found very interesting is to hear about this devotee in Germany, Sachimata. Does anyone know Sachimata? She's still around? Maybe she was visiting Germany at that time. Maybe she's not from Germany. Okay, maybe one of the first devotees in Germany who we owe a lot to. Yeah. All right, so now we will read 7th canto, chapter 9, text 13. Sarve hyami vidikaras tava sattvadamno Brahmadayo vayam ivayesha nacho dvijanta. Kshemaya bhutaya utatma sukaya chasya. Vikriditam bhagavato ruchiravatarai. Sarve yami vidikaras sattvadamno. Brahmadayo vayam iveshana chodvijanta. Kshemaya bhutaya utatma sukaya chasya. Vikriditam bhagavato ruchiravatarai. Sarve yami vidikaras sattvadamno. Brahmadayo vayamave iveshana chodvijanta. Kshemaya bhutaya utatma sukaya chasya. Vikriditam bhagavato ruchiravatarai.
Sarve ami vidikaraštava sattvadamno.
Sarve yami vidikaras tava sattvadamno.
Pramadayo vayami veshatnacho dvijanta.
Brahmadayo vayami veshana chodvijanta.
Kshemaya bhutaya hutatma sukaya chasva.
Kshemaya bhutaya hutatma sukaya chasva.
Vikriditam bhagavato ruchiravatarai.
Vikriditam bhagavato ruchiravatarai.
Sarve yami vidikaraštava sattvadamno.
Sarve yami vidikaras tava sattvadamno.
Brahmadayo vayam veshanas chodvijantam.
Brahmadayo vijami veshana chodvijanta.
Kshemaya bhutaya utatma sukaya chasya.
Kshemaya bhutaya utatma sukaya chasya.
Vikriditam bhagavato ruchiravatarai.
Vikriditam bhagavato ruchiravatarai. Sarve yami vidikaras tava sattvadamno. Brahmadayo vayami veshana chodvijanta. Kshemaya bhutaya utatma sukaya chasya. Vikriditam bhagavato ruchiravatarai. Sarve yami vidikaras tava sattvadamno. Brahmadayo Sayami Veshanacho Vidanta Shemaya Bhutaya Utatma Sukhaya Chasya Vikriditam Bhagavato Ruchiravataraya Sarve Yami Vidikalashtava Sattvadamno Brahmadayo Vayami Veshana Chodvijanta Shemaya Bhutaya Utatma Sukhaya Chasya Vikriditam Bhagavato Ruchiravataraya Sarve all he certainly Ami these Vidikara executors of orders Tava your Sattvadamna being always situated in the transcendental world Brahma Adaya the demigods headed by Lord Brahma Vayam we Eva like Isha O my Lord Na not Cha and Udvijanta who are afraid of your fearful appearance Kshemaya for the protection Bhutaye for the increase Uta it is said Atma Sukhaya for personal satisfaction by such pastimes Cha also Asya of this material world Vikriditam manifested Bhagavata of your lordship Ruchira very pleasing Avatarai by your incarnations. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. O my Lord, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma are sincere servants of your lordship, who are situated in a transcendental position. Therefore, they are not like us, Prahlad and his father, the demon Hiranyakashipu. Your appearance in this fearsome form is your pastime for your own pleasure. Such an incarnation is always meant for the protection and improvement of the universe. Purport. Prahlad Maharaj wanted to assert that his father and the other members of his family were all unfortunate. Yes, Prahlad and his father and the other members of his family were all unfortunate because they were demoniac, whereas the devotees of the Lord are always fortunate because they are always ready to follow the orders of the Lord. When the Supreme Lord appears in this material world in his various incarnations, he performs two functions, saving the devotee and vanquishing the demon. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritam. Lord Nishimadev, for example, appeared for the protection of his devotee. Such pastimes as those of Nishingadev are certainly not meant to create a fearful situation for the devotees, but nonetheless, the devotees, being very simple and faithful, were afraid of the fierce incarnation of the Lord. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj, in the following prayer, requests the Lord to give up his anger. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vanchakarpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Prahlad Maharaj is taking a very humble position here and is talking to Lord Nrsingadev about how he himself and his family members and his father are in a very unfortunate position. So obviously Hiranyakashipu is in a very unfortunate position. And maybe the other family members are also in an unfortunate position because they're in a demoniac family. They have demoniac practices and demoniac habits, and they're living a demoniac lifestyle. So they're in a very unfortunate position. But Prahlad Maharaj is not in an unfortunate position. Prahlad Maharaj got the mercy of the Lord through hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from Narada Muni when he was in the womb, and he got purified to the point where he became a completely pure devotee from birth, preaching at 5 years old to his classmates, engaging in the Sankirtan of the holy name. But here Prahlad Maharaj is putting himself in that same category as his family members, and he's just taking the humble position. And this is a very interesting example of a devotee, that he will find a reason to be humble. He'll find a reason to humble himself before the Lord. And it's not that he's pretending, Sometimes there might be false humility, and someone will just say something that's not actually, they don't feel it. But Prahlad Maharaj is not like that. He's really feeling that he is in an unfortunate position because of his being born in a demoniac family. And we ourselves might have so much to be humble about, but we find the one thing that we think we can be proud of, and then we focus on that. And then somebody might disrespect us in some way, and then we get upset. How dare somebody disrespect me? I don't deserve this disrespect. I have so many good qualities, or I have some basic, I need to be respected, right? Some basic respect should be there for me. But a pure devotee is able to just, and we see this by the example of Prahlad Maharaj, he's able to just give himself to this state of humility without reservation. He's able to just accept that, okay, I'm in a fallen position. I'm in an unfortunate position. I have nothing to be proud of. So this comes naturally to a pure devotee. Maybe it's because of their Krishna consciousness, that they're so Krishna conscious that it's very easy for them to just be humble. Because they're thinking of how great Krishna is and how lowly I am, and they'll look for a reason for that. Even though they have so many reasons to feel good about themselves, they'll find that reason to actually be humble about themselves. Yeah. So, when we look at society today, in this day and age, everybody is unfortunate. That is taken birth in this Kali Yuga, that is leading a life with basically demoniac habits, of just the basics, just anything that's not a devotional service to Krishna is sinful, in a sense, because it's based on selfishness, in a sense. So that's the bigger picture of what is sinful activity. Anything that's not devotional service to Krishna is, in a sense, sinful. What to speak of grossly sinful things like meat eating and those sort of things that are manifestations of the selfishness in a very gross way. So somebody that's living that type of life is actually very unfortunate. But people in general, they don't see themselves as being unfortunate. They don't think that I'm living in an unfortunate situation. They actually feel that they might be fortunate in so many ways. And in one sense, you might think, okay, that's good. You're positive about your life, and you feel that everything is fine, and that's great. Positive thinking. But the reality of the situation is that there's a lot of unfortunate people living in unfortunate lives. And so this is not something that you can easily explain to someone. You cannot approach someone on the street really and say, I know, it's okay. You're in a very unfortunate situation, but here's a book and you'll be okay. Generally, if you have that type of approach, they'll push the people away. And they won't just accept it, like, oh, really, you're saying this, so it must be true. They don't really accept you as an authority, so you can't just tell them things like that. But the beauty of the Sankirtan movement is that there's no need for that, because there's purification in any contact with Krishna. So if you get someone somehow, by hook or by crook, Srila Prabhupada said, to take a book, to touch a book, to pay for that book and take it home with them, to have a pleasant exchange with someone so that they think positively about the devotee that they're dealing with, that is so purifying that even without without much philosophical conversation or debate or conviction, the person is getting benefited. Agyata Sukriti. And by hook or by crook, by the way, it doesn't mean by honest methods or by crooked methods. This is not what Prabhupada meant. A crook is a term for a tool that's used for herding sheep, and it's shaped kind of like a hook. So either by a hook, an actual hook, or by something that looks like a hook that has a hook shape, whatever, pull them in. So we shouldn't use any crooked methods or tricky ways of getting people to take books. They feel cheated if you tell them this book is about something that it isn't actually about, because you think that the person might be interested in that. So you just tell them, yes, it's about this, and then they later find out it's not about that. Then they feel cheated, and it's not the right way. But people can be benefited and purified by contact with Krishna, even though they don't really feel they need it, or they don't really feel that they understand the value of it. And through that purification, they can get benefit and they can become fortunate. Yeah. So this is very important, and all glories to the Sankirtan devotees that are going out distributing books and going Harinam regularly. Like every week the devotees are going out, So they're benefiting so many people. And if we can be fortunate to take part in those programs, then we should take advantage of that. So the devotees are very fortunate because they are always ready to follow the orders of the Lord. What is the order of the Lord? He says in Bhagavad Gita, right at the end, surrender unto me. So this is why the devotees are always very fortunate, because they surrender unto Krishna. And what happens when you surrender unto Krishna? What does Krishna say? I will protect you from all sinful reactions. You know. So if we do this, then we become very fortunate. How fortunate is that, to be fully protected by Krishna? So Srila Prabhupada said that the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra should be done in the mood of a child crying out for a mother. So you can imagine a child crying out and being in distress, and then the mother comes and it sees to the child, gives the child what it needs, gives it affection, gives it attention, and the child feels completely protected, completely satisfied, completely safe and secure. So when the Lord says, I'll protect you, we can always also imagine this type of situation. We're connecting it with what Srila Prabhupada said about chanting, that the child becomes completely satisfied by being protected by the mother. So how fortunate is that? You can't be more fortunate than a child being fully protected by the mother. That feeling, that feeling of safety is very fortunate. Yeah. So I made some notes for the class. And since I made some notes, I feel I have to check on the notes and see what else I have to say. Okay. So the pastimes of the Lord. The pastimes of the Lord are for the protection of he appeared as Nrsingadev to protect Prahlad Maharaj. And the pastimes of the Lord are not there to create a fearful situation for the devotees. But here we see that Srila Prabhupada is saying the devotees, through being very simple and faithful, they were afraid of this incarnation of the Lord. The demigods were there, they're also devotees of the Lord, and they were afraid. They couldn't approach Nrsingadev. They told Prahlad, you go, you give him the garland. I can't go near Nrsingadev, even Lord Brahma. So Prahlad Maharaj was on a very high level of devotion, he could see Nrsingadev in a different way. He just saw him as being beautiful. And Srila Prabhupada also explained in previous verses, in the purports, that Nrsingadev looked very beautiful, having the garland, being garlanded by the intestines of Hiranyakashipu. He looked very beautiful. So the devotees have this different vision of Nrsingadev actually. But the demigods and some of the other devotees that were there, they were also very fearful of Nrsingadev. They're not on that same level as Prahlad Maharaj, who could see Nrsingadev in that beautiful way. But the Lord's pastimes are for us so important when we read about them in Srimad Bhagavatam, because we actually can associate with the Lord through the pastimes. He's non-different from his pastimes. It's very mystical in a sense. He's not different from his holy name. He's not different from his pastimes. So this is an opportunity for us to associate with Krishna. So this is how we get purified, by associating with Krishna. Mm-hmm. And if we can understand the pastimes of the Lord, then we can actually, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that you become eligible to return back to the kingdom of God. Someone who understands the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities, he can return back to Godhead. So this is not an easy thing, to understand the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, but this is the result. It's something important. How do we understand the pastimes of the Lord? By becoming purified, by being purified. If you're purified, then you'll be able to understand. How to get purified? By listening to the pastimes. So it's a very simple process, where the process itself can give you the result that you want. It's already there in the process. Yeah. So Krishna appears by his own free will. These pastimes he's performing them for his own pleasure, as Prahlad Maharaj is saying. He appears by his own free will, not like us. We don't appear by our own free will. We appear just by our karma. We're forced into this situation, and here we are. We don't even know how we got here. But Krishna appears by his own free will. He wants to perform pastimes, he wants to protect the devotee, he wants to annihilate the miscreants, and he appears as he wants, in the form that he wants. He decides, and he chose this form just to uphold the promises of Lord Brahma. So he is independent like that, as opposed to us who are completely dependent. We appear by our karma. We chose, in a sense, we chose what we have now. But it wasn't like a conscious decision. We chose in ignorance. We did something and we didn't know what the result was, and here we are in this body. But the Lord can appear very consciously, very easily, as He wishes for His transcendental pleasure. So, His pastimes are transcendental. We get purified. And naturally, this understanding of the transcendental nature of His comes out, because it's already there within our heart. As we get purified, the transcendental understanding of His pastimes actually gets reawakened. Because what does it say in Chaitanya Charitamrita? Nitya Sita Krishna Prema Sajja Kabanoy Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karya Udoy. The transcendental love for the Lord, which is ever present in our hearts, which is not to be obtained from an outside source, is reawakened by hearing and chanting, by the process starting with hearing and chanting about the Lord, by the process of devotional service. So understanding the transcendental nature of the pastimes of the Lord means understanding that love, and that love is naturally reawakened by hearing and chanting the pastimes of the Lord. So we're very fortunate to have these pastimes. We can read them by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, and we can associate with the Lord in this way. And in that way we can reawaken our dormant love for God. So the transcendental nature of the pastimes and the appearance of the Lord, everything in the spiritual world is made out of love. That's it. Everything is love. Just like everything in the material world is based on lust. It's the opposite. So when that love reawakens in our hearts, we'll be able to understand everything, we'll be able to go back to Godhead, everything will just be natural. But how to get that, how to be able to do that, right? So who has a taste for this? I know I don't. If you have a taste for this, you're very fortunate. But how to get the taste if you don't have it? To listen to the pastimes of the Lord, to chant the holy name. This is also revealed in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Shushusho Shradhadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Syanmahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. By serving those devotees who are free from all vice, great service is done. And by such service, one attains an affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. So it's by serving the devotees. And although it says in this verse that by serving those devotees who are free from all vice, great service is done, it is important to serve all devotees that we can, because it's a matter of degree. So if we serve devotees that might have some vices, they might not be completely pure, we will still get the benefit to the degree that they are pure. Right? Vancha karpa trubhyascha kripa sindhubheva patitanan pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. I offer my humble obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. Shri Vijay Gauranga Dharnitai Ki Jai. I offer my humble obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, who are just like desire trees, and who have compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. So it's not that we only serve those devotees who are pure devotees, because how would we know even if they're pure devotees necessarily? We're not judging the devotees, or he's a pure devotee, he's not a pure devotee. We're not judging the devotees. We shouldn't. We should see that they are devotees of Krishna, and then we should serve them, because Krishna values them. And if we serve them, Krishna will be pleased, and then we get mercy from Krishna. And then we will get what is that mercy? That mercy is that we will develop a taste for hearing about Krishna and for chanting the holy name of Krishna. And when we get that, when we want to do that more, then we become more purified, and then that love for the Lord becomes reawakened more. Reawakening the love for Krishna, it seems like something that, okay, one day that might happen. It's not happening right now, but it's actually happening right now. The love for Krishna is being awakened gradually. I remember Kadamba Maharaj once said, if you think you don't have a taste for chanting, try just not chanting one day. I was like, oh, really? But he said, try not doing it. And you'll feel something's missing. And that means you have a taste for chanting. That means your love for Krishna is awakening. So if you want, you can always do 32 rounds the next day. But this is what Maharaj said once. And yeah, so that would be an interesting experiment. I haven't done it, but I have some faith that I'm able to chant every day because there's some appreciation there, even however small it might be, you know? And that is a sign of some love of God being awakened. I can't believe I'm saying that I have love for God, but you all have it. You all are doing it. And I'm doing it because you all are doing it. I'm inspired. Actually, I'm doing it because I've made a promise to my Guru Maharaj. But this love for the Lord gets reawakened gradually more and more. And as we go through the stages of devotional service, from Shraddha to Sadhu Sangha, to Bhajana Kriya, to Anartha Nivritti, where we get stuck. It's a long stage, Anartha Nivritti. And then going to Nishtha, imagine attaining Nishtha. And then you're fixed, and then you make progress quickly. It's said that it accelerates at that point. Everything accelerates because now you're fixed. You're doing it in a fixed way every day, and you're focused and like that. And so then it does accelerate, but to some degree, something is happening. Something is being reawakened. Yeah. So this is Krishna's mercy. So how do we get this? By serving the devotees. Right. Yes. So we said that when we associate with Krishna, when we hear the pastimes of the Lord, we're associating with Krishna. When we chant the holy name, we're associating with Krishna. Kali Kali Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar Nama Haite Haya Sarva Jagat Nishtar. In the age of Kali, the Lord has appeared in the form of the holy name, and anyone who chants his holy name associates with him directly and is certainly delivered. So we are associating with Krishna. And if you imagine now associating with Krishna, what should our attitude be when we're associating with Krishna? You're in the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is the attitude? So in my mind, it's being humble, being grateful to the Lord maybe. But these are things we can meditate on. And obviously these are natural byproducts. Being humble, as we said, Prahlad Maharaj, being grateful. These are natural byproducts of being purified and being aware of our actual position. So this comes gradually, this comes naturally. But what we have some control over is, so that's the different aspects of the mind, thinking, feeling, and willing. But what we have some control over is what we think about. We can choose our thoughts. So when we chant japa, we should listen. We should think about the sound of the mantra. And we should listen to the first Hare Krishna when we chant. And then we should listen to the second one as well. And then we should listen to the double Krishna and then the double Hare. And then we should listen to the first Hare Rama and then the second one. And then the double Rama and then the double Hare. And then we should do it again. And then after we've done that, we should do it again. And maybe by the third time, your mind will start wandering. Maybe by the third time. My mind usually wanders a couple of times every mantra. But maybe we can do it, like listen to the whole mantra. And then by the third mantra, I'm speaking from experience. So for me, it's a big challenge to be attentive. So by the third mantra, your mind might start wondering. Now you've listened to 3 mantras. Now the mind might come with a bright idea. Oh, I'm listening so nicely. What if somebody knew how nicely I was listening? I'm sure they'd really respect me for it. Some kind of nonsense idea. The mind will come up maybe about some name and fame. Wow, I'm listening so nicely. I'm such a good devotee. So then you have to bring the mind back and then start again and listen to the first one, the first Hare Krishna. And again and again, keep trying. And if your mind wanders, after every third mantra, you would have to bring your mind, that means you would have to bring your mind back 576 times during your 16 rounds. It's not just a few times that you have to bring your mind back. It's a lot. Bringing your mind back again. And what to speak of if your mind wanders a few times every mantra. Sometimes I can't even chant one mantra without the mind wandering. Then you might have to bring the mind back a couple of thousand times while you're chanting your 16 rounds. A couple of thousand times. You have to make that effort to bring the mind back. So it's a big effort. But through that effort, we can reawaken our love of God, which is the perfection of life. So it's kind of worth it, right? Making that effort. It seems like, if you think of it in that way, that what's the reward? It's worth it to make that effort. We just need to want to do it. Yeah. And with that, I will end today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. Thank you very much for your attention. And if there's any comments, please feel free, or if there's any questions.
Er hat gesagt, dass wenn man Fleisch isst, kann man Krishna nicht erreichen. Aber es gibt auch Garuda zum Beispiel, oder diese alle Mahana von Narayana, die essen ja Fleisch.
Garuda und wer noch? Aber guter Punkt. The question is, if it's generally said that you cannot become Krishna conscious if you eat meat, but what about examples like Garuda? Garuda eats meat. And he's a devotee. He's a great devotee. he's the greatest devotee. Srila Prabhupada oder auch Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati hat auch gesagt, dass wenn ich für das Sankirtan, um die Leute anzulocken, wenn ich Fleisch geben muss bei den Programmen für die Leute, dass sie kommen, um ihnen was zu essen zu geben nach dem Programm, dann würde ich das machen. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that if I have to, in order to attract people to Sankirtan, if I have to serve meat at the program, I would do that. Und Srila Prabhupada hat auch gesagt, wenn er hat Devotees wohin geschickt, ich weiß nicht mehr genau wohin. Ja, Russland. Und dann meinten sie, ja, da gibt es ja gar kein Gemüse. Dann hat Srila Prabhupada gesagt, dann iss Fleisch, geh hin und mach Sankirtan in Russland. Die Devotees warten auf dich. So Srila Prabhupada also said about Russia, the devotee was going to Russia and said, but Srila Prabhupada, there's no vegetables there. And Srila Prabhupada said, go anyway, even if you have to eat meat, go and do Sankirtan. Also es gibt auf alle Fälle Wichtigeres als nicht Fleisch essen. Und also Srila Prabhupada sagte sogar, dass Vegetarier zu sein, das sind auch die Affen. Srila Prabhupada said about being vegetarian, how important is it? Even the monkeys are vegetarian. Also es gibt Wichtigeres, there's more important things than being vegetarian. Aber natürlich unterstützt es das Programm der Tugend und in der Tugend zu sein und so weiter. Für die normalen Leute ist es auf alle Fälle sehr empfohlen Und natürlich sagt Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, du kannst mir diese Sachen opfern und vielleicht kann man nicht opfern. Und so ist dann eine Riesenlücke in dem Prozess, in dem Bhakti-Yoga, Leben von jemandem, der sein Essen nicht opfern kann. Und so ist es natürlich für den normalen Mensch so, dass er schon nicht Fleisch essen sollte. Natürlich ist dann auch ist Garuda eine ganz andere Sache, weil er auch in dem Körper ist von einem Tier und so hat er einen anderen Standard. Ne? Das ist ganz, ganz, ganz anderes. So just to clarify that the general population is not on the level of Garuda. Garuda is very special because he's also in an animal body, and so he's got a different standard. But Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that you can offer me certain items and I will accept them. And so if we if we eat meat, then we have a huge gap in our bhakti process in our daily lives. That if we can't offer the food, then we lack, we miss that opportunity to become purified. So that's my take. Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, do you want to also?
Yeah, when Radha Maharaj was praying that we are so unfortunate, but in a sense that we are also very fortunate. Hiranyakashipu was very fortunate actually because he could see the Lord face to face.
Yeah.
And giving him a good fight.
Yeah.
Giving him a good fight.
Yeah.
So it's just his humble position. He says like it, and he knows, he feels also like that. He's just like you mentioned before, when we say, oh yeah, we are artificially trying to be humble. But he was really so humble.
Yeah.
Although he had a personal association with the Lord, he was saying, I'm so unfortunate.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? I was hearing recently a thing about a devotee in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. I can't remember the name. And he really thought that he's so fallen that if somebody hears his name, that person will become contaminated. If somebody says his name, then that person will become contaminated. And I mean, it's a level of humility that you can't even imagine, really. And also who was it? Was it, I think, Sanatan Goswami, one of the 6 Goswamis who had sores on his body because of a disease, and there was worms living in the sore. And when a worm would drop out onto the floor, then he would pick up the worm and put it back in the sore because, the worm needs that. So he was so tolerant, so humble that he would allow that. And we have a fly that comes on, it's not even on our hand, it's on our jersey, it's not even touching our skin. You can't feel it, but you see it and you're like, oh, the fly, get rid of the fly. So the devotee is so extremely humble. These examples that we have, it's kind of like mystical. It's just like mystical. How can someone have this type of mindset, to be that humble, to be that tolerant? But can you imagine being with someone like that? Like how soft and gentle a person like that must be. How just loving and kind. Like the devotees that met Srila Prabhupada, they say, we just fell in love with him. We just fell in love with this man who's 70 years old. And we were so attracted to him from his character. He was the most beautiful. Shama Sundar Prabhu said he was physically the most beautiful person he'd ever seen. Just because he emanated this love. So, yeah, it's wonderful. And we're very fortunate to have the opportunity to associate with devotees like this, in our movement now, that have a level of humility that is far beyond our own, even if it isn't that they might pick up a worm and put it back in the wound if they have a sore. But their level of humility, our spiritual masters, our advanced devotees that we have in our midst, even not just our spiritual masters, but so many that we can associate with them, that we can serve them. So this is the gift that Srila Prabhupada has given us. This is the biggest gift that Srila Prabhupada has given us, the association of the devotees. And as we said, when we serve them, then we develop a taste for hearing. And Srila Prabhupada gave us that as well. And then we can read Srimad Bhagavatam. get absorbed in Srimad Bhagavatam. He gave us everything. Srila Prabhupada gave us everything we need. We just have to take advantage of it. And so we pray for that we can do that. Anything else? Anybody else?
I was thinking a nice point that brought up when we were in South Africa is we understand Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda were so merciful that they broke open the seal of love of Godhead. The six Goswamis have been so kind, they've been known in the Vrindavan area as the most gentle. Acharyas, Srila Prabhupada has been extremely kind with so many. And then we think, well, then where's the problem? The problem is with us, because we're not advanced. We're the ones that are judging. We're the ones that are unkind and selfish. But if we start following, as you were saying in your class nicely, about following the footsteps, and how do we saying how amazing Srila Prabhupada is, and how kind these amazing Vaishnavas are, it's because they're connecting with Krishna on a level that we don't even comprehend. And that also is a sign of how merciful and kind Krishna is, and how loving he himself is. Something, again, we are way far away from comprehending because of our own selfish and unkind nature. So I thought that's a nice point that brings up.
Yeah, we have such an opportunity, to be part of such an amazing association, to be with and connected to such amazing people, and we're just not qualified, actually. But by that contact, we become a little bit more qualified through the association. We become a little softer. Our hearts become a little more receptive to receive what this amazing gifts that have been brought down through the cyclic succession for us. Yeah. So we're very fortunate.
I wanted to point out about the eating of the meat.
Yeah.
There's a nice story, I can't remember where, but it's about Narada Muni, and he has a disciple who's a serpent. He made him into a devotee, and so he stopped. When he became a devotee, then he said, "I have to be humble." So then he was being beaten, and he wasn't eating, and so Narada Muni had visited him, and he was really emancipated, and he was sore. He was hurt, and Narada Muni asked, "What's happening?" He said, "Well, I'm a devotee now. I can't eat meat, and I can't attack anyone, and I can't do this." And Narada Muni said, no, you don't have to attack anyone. You can hiss, so you can scare them, but also it's your nature. You have to eat this. You have to eat something. So there was some sort of arrangement that he could eat something. So it's the nature of the human body isn't actually, it's not meant to take in any meat. It's actually unhealthy for the human body. And even though Srila Prabhupada has mentioned it because of his personal scientific thing, even in the world now, the science is saying that it's actually really not good. But from the spiritual perspective, yes. So in a similar way, Gauradesh is an animal. He does have some special arrangements with the Lord. I was thinking about that.
Yeah, thank you. That's a very nice pastime of the snake, and how Narada Muni gave him a little bit of a different process, to follow, very suitable to him. And I think as we develop in ISKCON more and more, like as the Varnashram also develops more and more in ISKCON, then, because like Kshatriyas do certain things that Brahmanas don't do, actually, and like right now we're all like the same in ISKCON. Like everybody follows, and there's certain basics that everyone follows, but then as I guess as it maybe in the future as it develops, then there might be certain things that are accepted for certain people, not like eating meat, but just habits based on occupation. Like in the old days, the Kshatriyas would hunt to practice in their martial art. In their warfare and whatever, they would have to fight with tigers or something and kill them and I don't know what. So that's interesting. There's certain specific like arrangements that are there, or specific. It's just like different lifestyles based on ashram, and that hasn't developed so much, maybe based on varnas. Yeah, but maybe in the future. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So I think we'll end here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.